Hey, welcome to another video in this Linux crash course. In this video, we're going to focus in on how we can create directories, create files, move them around, and we're going to talk about something called links. So let's get at it. And just as a reminder, again, all of this content is in this GitHub repo, our Craven's Linux-crash course here. Last time we covered a lot about navigation, so we were able to kind of navigate up and down directories, or we're going to review some of that in here. But we're going to talk about creating directories and creating files and different ways of doing that. So all of this content is in this chapter 3, and it's just kind of broken up into a couple of different videos. So let's go ahead and get to our terminal and get working here. Just as a reminder where we're at, I'm in my home directory. If I ls and look around, I have this files directory, and I'm going to go ahead and switch directories into files. And these are all commands that we talked about last time, but it's nice just to review them and use them. The more you use the things, the easier they become. The last time we also talked about a clear command, so if I ever want to clear out everything, I can just type in clear. And the last time we installed a tree command. We can see that directory structure that we had the last time. This time I want to start by creating a directory. The command to make a directory is mkdir. Make directory. I can call it pretty much whatever I want. There's probably a few characters that aren't allowed in directory names, but if you stick to kind of basics here, I'm just going to call it my_directory. Make directory, my_directory. This is a relative path. It's going to make this directory inside my current working directory, which is files. So I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to use the tree command again because I want to show you what it looks like. Now here's the new tree command. And you can see my directory is there. It doesn't have any content yet, but I have a new directory. One of the ways I can get content into my directory is I can copy content in there. I talked about the copy command the last time. We're just going to review it here again. CP means copy, and I want to provide the source, which is names, and I want to put that inside of my directory. Now there's a couple of options here. I don't have to put anything else. If I hit enter, it's going to make that file, it's going to copy it in there, and it's going to call it names. If I wanted to change the name of it at this time, I could say, here's my new name. New names. Maybe that's what I'm going to change it to, new names. I have some options here. I don't have to supply anything, or I can provide it a new name. So I'm going to hit enter. And now if I hit type tree again, now you can see under my directory, I have this file called new names. The last time we also talked about a command called ls. If I want to list everything in my directory, I don't have to type this all. Just as a reminder, I can type m, and it's distinguishing enough here. Nothing else starts with an M. If I hit tab, it'll type the rest for me. And if I hit enter, now it's going to list the contents in the my directory, and I can see new names. I'm going to go ahead and take this new names file. It's in here. Let's say I made a mistake and I want to put it into directory number 6. So it's here right now, and I want to move it so it's over in directory 6. From my directory to directory 6. That's a review from last time also. So it's an MV for move, and then I have to give it the source as a relative path, my directory, and then it's new, just tab, names. And now I have to provide it the destination. Relative paths, so directory 3, directory 4, directory 5, 6, that's the path where it's going to go. At this time, I can either call it new names, or I can just rename it to something else. So I'm just going to give it the original name again, names. If I clear this out and we look at the tree, you can see that that file that was under my directory, there's nothing there anymore. But now we've moved that and renamed it at the same time under directory 6, which is called names. Now let's remove this directory so we don't no longer need it. We can rmdir, which is remove directory, and then we can type in the directory that we wanted to remove. If I hit enter, it's not going to ask me, are you sure? It's just going to remove. So it's the same thing as the rm. It doesn't give you a prompt or anything like that. It just does the work. I run the command. If I clear this out and type tree again, that directory is gone. If I do try to remove a directory that has contents, let's say directory 2, I'm going to say rmdir directory 2. In this case, if I want to hit enter, it's going to tell me that directory is not empty. You can't remove it. So there is a bit of a safeguard. If the directory is not empty, it will prompt you and say, this is going to fail because it's not empty, and it's just letting you know. Usually what I do is if I want to remove this directory and all of its contents, I use an rm command, remove -r for recursive. I usually add an F flag for force, and then I'll type in the directory. Now, once I hit enter here, it's not going to ask me. So if I hit enter, it's just going to do it. When I clear this out and I hit tree again, directory 2 is now gone, along with that file that was in directory 2. When I delete things in the terminal, they're gone. There's not like this abstraction layer that's on top of there where now they're sitting in a garbage can someplace, and I can go to that garbage can and recover them. Unless you have this backed up and that content is somewhere that you can recover it from, then you can't recover that file. Be careful with RMs. So far we've talked about copying files. Sometimes I don't want to copy a file because it's really duplicating the amount of storage or disk space that I need. Sometimes I have files where I want them kind of linked over in another directory so I can use it over there, but I don't want to copy them. We're going to talk about links next. I'm going to look at my files directory, and I'm going to use ls, but instead of just ls, I'm going to use an ls -l. And it's going to put everything in kind of a list or a long list format, and that's going to be important here in a second. But right now, just ignore most of this stuff. We'll talk about this in future videos, but I want to focus in on this names. What I'm going to do first is copy names, and I'm going to copy that into something called names copy. And this is just going to be for a demonstration purpose. I'm going to delete this in a little bit, but it's part of the demonstration of how links work. So now if I ls-l, you're going to see names copy. And here's my names. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of links. And there's going to be two different kinds of links, and we'll talk about what they are. But the ln command makes a link, and it needs a source. A relative path for the source is names copy. That's going to be my source. And this first one, we're just going to make a names copy, and then I'm going to make it, we're just going to put the type in here, which is called a hard link. When I use ln in this way with a source and a destination, this makes a hard link, and we'll talk about what those means in a second. Another way is I can use a -s. Again, the source copy, the destination, and this is going to be a soft link or a sim link, so we'll use it like that. So now if I ls-l, the list, you're going to see, here's my original, or the copy of the original. That's the names copy. That's where I started from. This is a hard link of that, and then this is a soft link of that. We can see a couple of things here. First of all, let's talk about what hard link is. Under the hood, this names copy resides somewhere on disk, and it takes up some disk space. And under the hood, then, this file is really kind of a reference, and it's referencing that disk space in memory or on the hard disk right there. That's where the disk space is. When I make a hard link, what I'm really doing is I'm making another reference to the same disk space. That hard link is another reference to that same space on disk. It doesn't represent more disk space. I'm not getting more, doubling the amount of disk space. It's the same data, it's the same bytes in the same storage space on the disk. And you can even see that over here on the left-hand side. This too is the number of references that are made to this disk space. Names copy, there's 2 references to that space on the disk. Now that's not what the soft link is. The soft link is really a reference back to this file. And so you can see here on the disk, there's 28 bytes. This symlink or the soft link is only 10 bytes, but it points directly back to here. This is not 28 additional bytes. It's the same original 28 bytes that was in the name copy. It's the same space on the disk. Now, where we'll start to see the differences between hard link and soft link is if I delete this original. And so that's what we're going to do next. We're going to rm for remove, names, copy, and I'm going to delete it. It's not going to ask me. It's gone. If I ls-l, now we start to see the difference. So names copy hard link, you can see now there's only one reference. It's there. This soft link, it's all red, and that's because it's broken. If I cat out what was in names copy hard link, this is going to still work because it's the same space on the disk. It was just referenced twice. Now it's only referenced once. But if I try to cat out the soft link, it's going to say, whoa, hey, that's broken. There's no such file anymore, because this used to point to a file called names copy, but that no longer exists. So that's the difference. It's important that we use links sometimes and we don't make multiple copies of things. We don't want to double the disk space, but we still want to use it. Links are important. And I'm going to remove names copy. So I'm going to remove the hard link, and I'm going to remove that soft link also. So RM will remove links, and ILS-A, and I'm all cleaned up. I'm back where I was before. All right, so that completes this video on making directories and moving and copying files and symlinks. We'll see you next time.